Hello and welcome back to Alleyway Conversations. We're back!
Yeah, I finally mastered necromancy. Can we try again?
No.
Crap.
No, that's staying in. I like that. You're speaking Swahili!
I mastered necromancy. And all it cost me was my ability to not stutter. So
To be fair, I don't think you had that before.
I brought Andrew back from the dead. And now here we are.
You son of a bitch.
It's for me, not for you.
Fine. Anyway, as I'm sure some of you probably figured out, we had a little bit of hardware issues.
Yeah, we definitely weren't just sitting around for a year straight doing nothing but drinking and playing Borderlands. Let me tell you.
Hey, there was also smoking and movie watching going on as well.
That's true. We actually did before we realized how big an effort it would take to get back on air, we actually did a little bit of research for what would be our next
It's going to be our Christmas episode.
Yeah, and, well, it just so happens, look at what time of year it is.
It's almost Christmas!
Yeah, dude, so we'll actually be able to do that now.
Yeah, so just, and to tell you how much trouble we've had doing this isn't even our first attempt at a comeback episode. This is our second, because the first one saved and corrupted so badly it wouldn't even open.
Yeah, we have actually... I make the joke because I did spend a lot of that year doing little more than getting drunk and playing video games. We actually have worked really hard to get back on air because we miss you guys. And, I really hope at some point somebody will, go through our podcast and it'll make them laugh or make them happy for a minute, and that's why we do this.
Actually, Bree from work, I mentioned that I was coming home to do record our episode, and she's like, "Oh, man, that sounds awesome." And Andrew happened to be there and goes, "Why don't you get her involved?" And she got super excited. I'm like, "Oh, could it be time for another special guest segment in the near future?"
To be fair, we haven't had one in over a year.
Yeah, can't imagine why.
If we can find a topic, and that is a thing, with CJ, we mostly just shoehorned him in because everybody loves CJ.
See, that's what I took. She's like, "You can do that?" I'm like, "Well, we got CJ in because everybody fell in love with his voice.
Yeah.
We got Levi because we were doing Mega Man and Resident Evil and stuff, which is his wheelhouse.
Yeah, he definitely knows a lot more about the lore of video games than
And then our last guest was
Ethan.
Yeah, I kept wanting to say CJ again. I'm like, no, that's the Russian guy.
Yeah. I mentioned it at the top of the episode, but yeah, whereas I'm more of a guy who really likes trauma films, I'll watch Sleepaway Camp 12 times in a row. He's more of a guy, more of a thinker, a scholar in horror movies.
And he knew the Freddy, Jason, and Chucky movies really well. I don't know if he knew about the Jason movies as well, but he definitely knew a lot about Freddy and Chucky.
Well, I believe what happened was oh boy, stuttering like crazy. It's gonna be a while till I'm back on my feet here, guys. I'm sorry.
Which is hilarious, because you're sitting down.
Well, we're always sitting down. It'd be weird if we weren't sitting down for an episode.
We could get a standing desk. No, that's stupid, and you should think poorly of yourself.
I don't know, it worked out pretty well for Vaughn from Borderlands.
Yeah, I'm a fat guy that likes to sit down. I don't want to stand for an hour doing this.
Yeah, you never played Tales, but at one point he just takes off his shirt. He's a dopey accountant, and he's just ripped.
Oh, the guy from Borderlands 3?
Well, he was in Borderlands 3.
The Bandit King!
Bandit Life!
Woo!
Yeah, that was the same guy.
He was my favorite character in that whole series.
I like him. I like him even better in Tales, but I feel like Tales, you kind of have to have a really good story and really good characters.
Because most of the time Borderlands is a first-person shooter, whereas Tales is more of a what would you say, like a RPG almost? It's more of a story-esque thing.
Yeah, it's more like
choose your own adventure book.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, you were going to say the same thing, weren't you?
Mm-hmm.
I stole your thunder. I'm sorry.
I'll live. So, really, at the end of the day, Again, I've been playing a lot of Borderlands.
Hey, you've also been playing a lot of GTA San Andreas lately.
Yeah, but that's for reasons the PC is not the only tech problems we're having.
Yeah.
But
Well, not only that, but even after we finally got the computer up and running, then we were having software issues. I couldn't get our audio recording program to download. I couldn't. Finally, I was actually going through. I reconnected an old hard drive from the old computer, and it was just sitting there in the podcast stuff folder. Just the full download. Because I couldn't find the download from the actual website. They're like, oh, we'll just click the download button. Well, no shit, Sherlock. If I had a download button, I'm sure I would have pressed it.
yeah, unless it's like, I don't know, a movie or something that you bootlegged from the early 2000s.
We don't talk about my pirate days.
I'm just saying, they had like 12 different download buttons.
This is true.
It's like you had to find the right one, man.
Yeah. So, we wanted to come on here, give you a little recap of what you've missed. If you've missed us, hey, we're back. If you didn't miss us, why the hell are you listening to us now?
Yeah, I know. It'd be weird if they just like, I hate these guys. Anyway, let's see their new episode.
However, as I'm sure some people will notice, I'm going to be putting a video in the back of this.
Oh?
It's going to be the Jurassic World tape. If I'm fairly certain I still know where all the gameplay footage is. I'm going to do like our intro picture, like that's always there, and I'm going to do an outro picture, but, you know, a lot of people listen to podcasts on YouTube through video, and they like to watch something, so I am going to put out my disastrous attempt to corral dinosaurs. And it works about as well as the first movie.
Yeah,
but
we could not record any of it, but...
Barry is still a very good boy.
Barry is our pride and joy. Nobody can touch Barry.
So, to give you some context, Barry is a baryonyx.
Yeah.
It's like, I think it was supposed to be like the Spinosaurus from the third Jurassic Park movie, isn't it?
Something like. It was like the predecessor. It would eventually evolve into Spinosaurus.
Okay. So we had like a T-Rex, like 4 velociraptors, then a hurricane came through, destroyed all of our fencing, and of course they're running around eating guests left, right, and center, and I'm like...
That's kind of the nature of velociraptors. They're social creatures. They have to go out and make friends by eating them.
Yes. However, every single predator we had in that compound, because we're standing here at like 8 o'clock in the morning, screaming at the top of our lungs, "Get the fuck back in the pen!" At everything. In fact, woke our roommate up from a dead sleep, and he was pissed. We're going to skip over that now. But after everything was said and done, we're like, oh god, where's the Barry? Because he was the biggest thing we had at the time.
He was huge and very scary, and some bad stuff might happen if he gets out of his cage. He slept through the entire thing.
Oh, yeah, just in the middle of his enclosure, passed out, didn't care. No. In fact, I think even the velociraptors were giving him a wide berth, like, let's not wake him.
Yeah, we don't want to bother him. He's really nice.
Apparently, if you're not a fish, he wasn't interested. And I guess he had plenty of leg room in his enclosure, because he's like, oh, is that a broken down fence over there? Like, I watched him walk over there, look at the fence, and then like, no, that's too much work. I got a fish. I got some fish to eat.
Yeah, I don't need people. I got fish, man. Yeah.
So Barry will forever be a mascot of ours.
Yeah.
In fact, not long after that, you went on vacation to Branson.
Yeah, and I brought back a baryonyx.
Yeah, apparently there was like a fossil shop there, a touristy attraction thing, and they had a bunch of little dino figures. And what did Patch bring me? A little baryonyx.
Yeah, dude.
In fact, it's sitting over there on the thing. Yay, there's Barry.
Actually, I remember now. That's not baryonyx.
Oh, that's a Newman.
That's a Newman, yeah. I remember because I went there and there actually were like lines of different like plastic dinosaurs that, you know, I thought, oh, I gotta get baryonyx. I gotta get baryonyx. But then when I looked at it, the baryonyx was kind of derpy looking. But I knew you liked Dilophosaurus as well.
Yeah. So we ended up calling him Newman. Oh, this was probably about 10 years ago when Ark Survival Evolved came
that
out.
was like a ways back.
Right. Well, everybody, we're trying to figure out what to name dinosaurs and the like. Well, somebody was like, "Hey, remember that guy Newman? They got eaten by the Dilophosaur in the first movie."
Well,
Yeah. Hey, let's name them all Newmans.
Well, his name was Nedry in that movie, but he also played Newman in Seinfeld.
Right,
so.
but nobody could remember his name from the movie,
Yeah.
so we just ended up calling. There is nothing funnier in my mind than seeing an army of like 30 or 40 Newmans following after you, and then you see a T-Rex and you're like, "Newmans, kill!" And they just start swarming, and then there goes the T-Rex,
Yeah,
and then it got eaten, and you're like, "Okay, that shouldn't be right. I don't care how good the Dilophosaurs are; they shouldn't be able to take down a full-grown T-Rex."
Yeah, no, it is ridiculous.
But I felt like a god.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
It's kind of like I remember in a D&D group I was in, a guy just had like an army of rats to do his bidding.
Yes.
And he actually did pretty decent in battle, by the way.
I mean, you don't have to do a lot of damage. If you have 15 things that can only do 1 point of damage, that's still 15 damage.
Oh, yeah. Like, that was the thing. It was an army. I can't remember how many we ended the campaign with, but it was a lot.
My favorite one is still the Necromancer who took, I think it was like Pocket Plane, or no, I think it was a portable hole, I think it was. Because the portable hole is like what, like a 50 by 25 foot area, so it's got a pretty good amount of room.
It's kind of like the that Acme cartoon. It's just buy your own hole.
Yeah. So anyway, what he would do is he would resurrect zombies. Well, every so often, after he got like 3 or 4, he'd throw them in the portable hole. And the DM was like, if you don't recast your spell on them after 24 hours, you're going to lose control. Nah, it's fine.
Yeah.
And we did this for like 2 or 3 months. He would just keep continually getting undead and throw them in there. Finally, we got to a campaign where we're doing like a castle siege, except we're in the castle and we're getting sieged. And he's like, "So what do you do?" And the Necromancer's like, "Hang on, I got this." "What do you mean you got this? What do you have?" He just takes out his portable hole, leans down, slaps it on the side of the wall, and then an entire army of undead just start pouring out and slaughtering everyone in front of them. And he's like, "But you're not controlling them."
I don't need to.
"Yeah, I don't need to control them. There's all the bad guys, and we're on the other side of this wall. I am not worried they're going to break this wall down."
At that point, it's just a matter of taking down anyone who's left after that.
Right, because granted, there are more people than there were undead, and undead, especially low level, are kind of weak. But at the end of the day, if you have 1,000 people and 1,000 undead, you're not going to have 1,000 of either by the time that fight's over.
Yeah, no, it's
Could be a lot less.
Yeah, there's a lot going on there.
But anyway, we just wanted to let you guys know we hadn't forgotten, we hadn't quit. We're finally back up and running, and hopefully this episode won't corrupt so badly I can't work on it.
Yeah, no kidding, man. Like, we actually did have a pretty decent episode that time. Like, there wasn't anything, like, great or enthralling about it.
Groundbreaking.
But I felt like it was a little more heartfelt, which is always... Yeah, because we do... like, I'm not going to dwell on it this time around, but... This is kind of a dream come true for me, since I always wanted to work in radio. And, well, nowadays, radio's not really so much of a thing, but, I mean, this is the closest we got, so it really means a lot to be back in the lab. I'm super pumped about it, and, it's kind of more or less like I said, a dream come true.
Yeah.
But that was a bit more heartfelt that time. But at the same time, it actually was a good episode, but at the same time, now we have to re-record, and, well, I mean, we're gonna see. Jury's still out on this episode, so.
Well, and not just that, but I mean, I'm sorry, folks, I wish you could have heard it. You will never hear that episode, because we don't really do scripts. We have themes and movies we want to talk about, and then We just
Yeah.
go off the wherever our brains will
Yeah,
take it. Okay,
I
maybe
think-
not our brains. Our brains probably aren't doing so hot.
I think in some of our more involved episodes, like we want to cover a lot of ground all at once in one episode, like we'll have something to the side of the screen that's more like bullet points rather than like nobody's like, no, this is actually scripted. I'm the Lord Jesus Christ.
Hi, Jesus.
Yeah, no, you didn't script that.
Hasta la vista,
Yeah.
baby. Although that is a
So-
good topic because we are going to be watching.
there
Our
is-
next episode is going to be about 80s action movies, and I can't think of a
Oh.
more iconic 80s action
Okay.
star than Arnold Schwarzenegger. We've
Yeah.
already started watching some movies, and he is my personal favorite action star of all time. We've also started watching some of the Universal Soldier movies. We'll rewatch the first two Terminators because let's face it, those are the better ones.
I mean, if we absolutely have to.
You sound so disappointed. in that.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Terminator, man.
I do want to get into like a Double Team and stuff, which those of you who don't know is actually a Jean-Claude Van Damme movies. I would love to get like
Jean-Claude Van Damme?
yeah, double. I think it was called Double Team. So remember the
Okay.
Arnold Schwarzenegger movie called The Sixth Day where he got cloned?
Oh, yeah.
That was basically a remake of this one, except instead of a clone, he just has a twin brother he wasn't aware of.
Well, I could have sworn that was Sylvester Stallone, but I might be thinking of Demolition Man.
You were thinking of Demolition Man.
Demolition
which,
Man's really, really good, though.
Right. Which, can I say, Sandra Bullock is... I'm sorry, I have had a crush on her since I was about 12, and I still watch movies with her today and think, damn, she's beautiful, she's talented, she seems extremely smart, and like a very nice person. Everything you could want in a significant other. Unfortunately, she's worth ungodly amounts more than me and doesn't realize I exist.
Yeah.
That tends to be a thing.
Yeah, I kind of have the same thing going with Winona Ryder. Like, she's a party girl, she has a lot of fun. Apparently, she's a real joy to be around, and almost disturbingly beautiful. But also, like, well, one, she is ridiculously rich and does not need some random bald guy bothering her all the time. And B, like, she started by dating Johnny Depp.
Oh man,
That's a
how do you?
high bar to clear,
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
How do you? No, I don't. I'm sorry. That's like saying you need to start being nicer than Keanu Reeves. Holy shit! Where would you start?
Oh man, yeah. I've always, it is kind of weird how that works out. Like even looking back at like some of his bad films. Okay, Dracula, Bram Stoker's Dracula wasn't a bad film necessarily, but he wasn't good in it.
Is that kind of like the movie Rembrandt with oh, who was it? The Unmistakable Weight of Talent.
Oh, Nick Cage.
Yeah, and Nick Cage was batshit insane in that movie, but it was a good movie.
Well,
Regardless of the fact that he was that weird in it. Or maybe, in fact, because he was that... I mean, everyone else was playing... I wouldn't necessarily say a serious character, but they definitely did not ham it up as much as Nicolas Cage did. And I think he had a hell of a time with that movie.
I feel like there are a handful of actors out there who are at their best when they are losing their goddamn minds.
Speaking
Nick
of...
Cage is one of them.
And speaking of Winona Ryder, so was the guy that played Beetlejuice.
Oh, Michael Keaton.
Oh, man.
I feel like he's kind of a switch. Like, he's really good in some of his more solemn roles, but he's also really, really good when he's just going nuts.
I mean, in the first Spider-Man movie with Tom Holland, he made
yeah,
an
he was the
amazing
Vulture.
Vulture.
Yeah. And, like, the cool thing about it is I didn't see anything I hated that was different enough from the comic books to be like, no, this ruins it for me. Nah, he was good. He was good.
Yeah.
Everyone was really good. Tom Holland, everything. He's like the anti-Sean Bean. Like, if you don't know, Sean Bean has been in a couple of adaptations. He was in the Silent Hill movie, as well as the Percy Jackson movie.
He was also in an episode of Doctor Who.
Neat.
Yeah.
But, no, that's Simon Pegg.
Oh. Who are you
You-
talking about again?
Sean Bean. The guy that always dies.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, you should have started with that. He's the guy that dies in every
He-
movie.
he actually-
Oh!
He actually lived through both Silent Hill and Percy Jackson, but that's a fate worse than death.
Right?
Now, you don't even get to leave early, man. You are stuck being the guy from Silent Hill and that god-awful Percy Jackson adaptation, so...
Hey, they're making a new series, and I really
Yep.
did love the person. I did like how they made Pierce Brosnan a centaur.
That
was awesome.
That is literally the only reason to watch those movies.
I mean, you're not-
Brosnan's a centaur.
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
And yes. So, all right. Well, we just wanted to come back and say that we're back. We're going to be
Yeah.
back on track, hopefully, here in a couple of weeks.
We've missed you, and we are going to maybe not hit the books hard, but we are going to hit the books. They might take us to court. I don't know.
Just
What?
show them who's boss. We'll take them into a dark alley. They'll never come out.
But at the same time, we're gonna get back in the lab a little bit more often. It's going to be a little bit more difficult just because I have a crazy schedule and Andrew's in retail now, so
Yeah, we no longer work at that job and thus can no longer have CJ with us, at least unless we were going to do it online, which we might.
yeah, there's a possibility of that.
There is a way, as soon as I can figure out a way to record through a Discord chat, I am all
But-
for that.
But there was something I wanted to take Andrew to, or rather get him to drive me to, and he'll have fun with it too. And it kind of dawns on me our schedules clash quite a bit. So,
Are you talking about that D&D tavern you found?
oh yes.
Oh,
It's
I'm
called-
so excited.
I haven't even been there, so I can't really say anything about how good or bad it is. But if you happen to live around the Joplin, Missouri area, there is a D&D themed bar called The Short Rest.
I'm
Check
excited.
it out if you happen to live around that area and you happen to be really into D&D and happen to be an alcoholic. For
I am
me-
all but that last thing.
Yeah, and I'm all three of those things. So I'm personally really, really excited about it, but it dawns on me it is hard for us to find a night off together. So,
However, we do also still have some old episodes. I think I've got like 3 or 4 still in the archive that, the computer shorted out before I could get them done. So,
Yeah, it's-
we will. Our Brandon Fraser episode, I believe, is still on there. I found that
that's
the
good.
other day.
That's good, because that was something I was really excited about putting out there.
And it was very heartbreaking for you. It took you to some places.
Yeah, I mean, I remember, the whale was the big one there. There's also a line
I see what
of-
you did there.
Oh,
The whale was
that
the
was
big
not
one.
meant to be a pun. Yeah, but there was that. There was a lot of nostalgia going on with movies like Monkey Bone and Encino Man.
And of course, we had to rewatch the first 2 Mummy movies.
Yeah, I feel like that's mandatory. If you're going to talk about Brendan Fraser, you got to talk about those Mummy movies, man.
We don't talk about the third one.
No. We shouldn't.
Yeah.
Because
What
we
third
like
movie?
Brendan Fraser.
Yeah,
we want
what
him to.
third movie? He only made 2, and they were both amazing.
Yeah, it's kind of like anytime you talk about any Tim Curry movies, you always talk about him being really good, because he is really good. Doug Walker pointed out, I believe it was Doug Walker, who said, for every 1-star movie that Tim Curry's in, he's the reason it has that 1 star.
Yes. He is the only good thing about that movie.
Yeah.
And speaking of, I need to show you that episode on Criminal Minds where he's a serial killer. Tim Curry's a
Yeah.
serial killer, and it's 100% believable.
Yeah, I just saw a snippet from an interview on Facebook and sent it over to him, because I know Andrew really likes, crime dramas and stuff.
And I did watch a lot of NCIS. Or not NCIS, Criminal Minds. I love NCIS too, don't get me wrong.
I mean, if it doesn't have to do with Abby's fat ass, I'm not concerned.
But Abby is in the show, and that's all that matters.
Yeah.
Is that where the country's love of goth women started, or did that
Yeah.
just make it so much worse?
Yeah, it's kind of like it kind of dawned on me you didn't really see clown fetishists until Borderlands got off the ground and Moxie happened to be in it. I mean, you had the rando every now and then who was maybe a little too into Harley Quinn, but that's about it. Then out of nowhere, clown fetishists all over the internet.
No, I'm good.
Yeah, no, I mean,
Yeah. Anyway, on that ending note of clown fetishes, we're gonna end the episode now.
Yeah.
Because there's no telling where we'll go from
Yeah,
here.
this might go to some places, so we're just gonna cut that out and,
No, we're not.
No, we're not. Okay.
Midget porn. What?
Oh.
And on that small note...
I hate you so much.
Thank you. Your hatred sustains me. And on that note, we will get out of here.
I never should have pulled you out of your grave, but I'm glad I did, because now we can keep working on this.
Midget porn. I mean, the podcast. Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
I mean, why not both?
Well, I don't know enough midgets for this.
Don't worry, I got you.
Hey, do you think any of the guys from The Wizard of Oz is still around?
Probably not.
Midget bones.
Yeah. That's...
And on that note, goodbye!
Later!